Good morning, Math 86. So we are doing a video again because yesterday I didn't have the class's attention when I asked for it the way I wanted, and I need you to understand the rest of the graphing assignment, and I need to review the work that we've done so far. And I need your attention for more than just a couple minutes to do so. Um, and so just want to encourage you to do your best. And if the person next to you is not, then just know that I have time now to call their parents. So you just do your best, okay? And I hope that we have a great day. I'm really tired of working through behavior problems that shouldn't be there and that haven't been there and are now reappearing. Please make sure they don't reappear. It's not to anybody's benefit. All right, so let's look at this one more time. Just a simple example. Everybody should write this down on their paper. As I walk around the room, I should see this on your paper. Negative x plus 4y equals negative 9. Okay. All right, now what screen am I sharing? Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, screen 2. Okay, can you see it now? Okay, everybody should have negative x plus 4y equals negative 9 and y equals negative 2x plus 6. Negative x plus 4y equals negative 9 and y equals negative 2x plus 6. I couldn't believe it when I walked around the room and saw people not writing anything down and just pressing yes or no. Like that is not demonstrating that you can do that. And then I gave those same people same problems on paper and they couldn't do it. Now, at this time, you should already know that you can't do it. If you're just, you need to know as the learner that that's not a good strategy. And it's not the strategy your teacher is asking you to do. Every time you see a problem on the screen, you always write it down. You've had to show your worksheet the whole year. So you need to know that as a learner, especially going into high school. You're all young men and young women, and you need to take responsibility for your learning. So I don't know what else to tell you because I've told you all you need to know. All right, so we're going to go through the success criteria. 2 is our x value, 3 is our y value. And so we're going to substitute those into both equations. So I'm going to number the equations. And then I'm going to write equation 1 over here, but instead of x, I'm going to write 2. So I'm going to write negative 2 plus 4y, but instead of y, I'm going to write 3. So I'm going to write plus 4 parentheses 3 equals negative 9. And then I'm going to use, so I labeled the x and the y for success criteria, substituted x and y into the equation, second success criteria. Third, I am going to use order of operations to simplify each side. On this one, I'm simplifying the left side. So 4 times 3 is 12. So I just do that one thing and rewrite the equation. Now I'm going to combine these integers. That negative 2 plus 12 is 10. And I see that they are not equal. This is false. I can write false on my paper. So at this point, I couldn't believe how many people on Monday I had to tell them again, write everything down in the video. Okay, if I have to tell you that, I'm calling your parent during this class period because you already know you've been told this for several months to write everything down that's on the board of the video. And if you don't have it, that is your responsibility. And I need to make sure that your parents know that you're not taking responsibility for your learning and it's causing an issue and a disruption to our whole class. Okay, so you need to have this all on your paper right now. Now I'm going to select no, but I want you to see that that is only the end of the process. The evidence that I know how to do this is everything I wrote down, and you should also have it written down, okay? This is great. So we did slope-intercept form, and it's even still on the right board there, the success criteria for that. Identify the slope and the intercept. Graph the y-intercept. Use the slope to get a second point. Repeat the process for the second line, and then look where the lines cross, okay? And I can help you through any of those steps. Just raise your hand. But this example that we're going to slow down and do right now is in standard, okay? So you have slope-intercept form. Write this on your paper, just as review. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Once you know that, you know that's the y-intercept. The first point you graph on the y-axis. M is the slope, and we can talk all about that. But these are not in that form. These are in standard form. Okay? And so what is standard form? It's when we have the both variables, both the x and the y on the left side. And we call the numbers, we just label the numbers that we see in the equation A, B. Okay? So if you write that standard form above that equation, you see that our A is -3. You see our B is -9, right? Does everybody see that? Because that's plus in the form and we see a minus. That's because B is negative and our C is 18. So in order to graph these, what we're going to do, you could get it into slope-intercept form and graph it that way. But I like to try to graph the intercepts because I find it's really easy. So that's how I taught you to do this, but it was back in October. So let's look at it again. The first thing I'm going to do is graph the x-intercept. So I just wrote x int right up there, even though it's hard to see. And in order to find the x-intercept, you take the x term and you set it equal to c. Then we're going to divide both sides by -3. We'll have our x-intercept. What's 18 divided by -3? -6. So that means I can use this blue line. I'll put a point at -6. All right. Now we're going to find our y-intercept. And the y-intercept, we're going to take the by and set it equal to c. So I'm just going to write ax equals c there. Right. The formula is by equals c. So -9y equals 18. And so again, we just divide and we're done. Divide and done. What's 18 divided by -9? -2. So on the y-axis, I put a point at -2. And then I'm going to graph that line. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other equation, right? So it's the same process twice. So there's my equation. Ax equals c is going to be 4x equals 12. Divide. What's 12 divided by 4? It's 3. So now let me use a different color for this line here. I'll use blue. So on the graph, I'm going to put a blue point at 3. And let me do by equals c is going to be 3y equals 12. And then divide, and I'm done. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I'm going to put a point at 4 on the y-axis. And then you just connect those lines. Connect those with this other line here. And then we just see where the lines cross. So they cross right here, right? And what point is that? That has an x value of 6 and a y value of -4. So that point, color it in, is 6 -4. And that is the whole point of what we just did. We graphed the two lines to find out where they cross. They cross at 6, -4. Check it. Right. All right. So now you have all the examples you need for this week to get 100% on everything legitimately. Know how to do it. If you have questions, you need to raise your hand. But let's just write our success criteria before I hold you to them. Okay. So you have the success criteria for solutions. You have the success criteria for graphing in slope-intercept form. And now this is solutions with standard form. How do we graph this? So the first thing is I can identify standard form. Got to identify standard form, right? Then I can set up the equation to find the x-intercept. So that would be ax equals c. You figure out, the first term you see is the ax, and the number on the right side of the equal sign is c. You just put those two things equal. I can solve and graph its intercept. And then, what do you think the next one is? I can set up the equation to find the y-intercept. And what is that equation? By equals c. So they both equal c. And I can solve and graph y-intercept and connect intercepts to graph the line. Okay. I can repeat this process for the second line. And then the last thing, once you have both lines on the graph, how do you know where the answer is? I can determine where two lines intersect. So all you got to do is determine where two lines intersect. All right, so here's a little bit. A little bit hard to see, but if you need any help, you can just let me know. All right, so that is everything. So now after you finish this video, I want you to have a show your worksheet out, and I'll give you one with graph paper, and I want to see you graphing every problem from the computer on your paper first, and then putting your answer onto the computer. All right, if you do that, not only will you get 100%, but you'll get 100% tomorrow when we take the quiz on paper. Bye.